Here's a quick video on the demo unit we've sent out. There are 3 lights around a square, and then we've also done a 2x2 ceiling fixture. If I move, you're going to notice that the 2x2 comes on. That's because it's being controlled not only by a switch, but also by a motion sensor. The other 2 lights here are going to be controlled by these 2 switches. The square one in the upper right-hand corner, we pushed the on-off button. So the button in the center is on-off, and the squares at the top is brighter, and square at the bottom is dimmer with a little logo. You can see that. These particular center ones don't do anything. These little triangular or diagonal switches, these would be used for what we call tunable white. We did not put tunable white in this system because we didn't want to confuse the situation if you're not buying tunable white. Tunable white is fantastic. It's very neat. It's a little bit more money. It's where we put 2 different color temperatures of LEDs in the actual arrays or in the fixtures themselves. So you can tune the white or change the intensity or the color of the white. Used oftentimes for circadian rhythm. It can be programmed to change throughout the day to create an atmosphere, you know, the morning light coming up to the noon light and then back down into the afternoon light. Lots of studies being done on that. It's really neat, but we didn't put it in this system. So again, 3 switches here, controlling the different lights, dimmable, on, off. So very basic, very simple. What we did here, just for demonstration purposes only, we put colored Cat6 cables in. You, of course, don't need to put colored Cat6s in the final unit. We put them in only for demonstration purposes. So the green is going to be out to light. So these are all outputs. We have 10 outputs here. This particular output is for what we would call zone 1, let's say, which is the round light, and zone 2, which happens to be the square light above. And then all of the rest of them, we programmed it so all of these other outputs actually are going to do exactly the same and be controlled by this one switch. The reason why we did this, we didn't want any dead outputs where you know, you might plug this in here, let's say, and if that wasn't programmed, then it would feel like maybe the light's not working or something like that. So all of these other ones are all programmed to use this switch. So whatever we tell this switch to do, that's what's going to happen to this 2x2 fixture that we see down here on the ground. I push the button, it turns off, and so on and so forth. All right, so this again is the demo unit. It's very basic. This is input orange coming from the switches. So you're going to run the switches in a series. They will go from switch to switch to switch, coming back through the facility or through the building, and then one home run coming back to the actual unit itself and goes right in here. So those are all the switches. They're all run in a series together, and they come right back into here. All of the lights are going to be run in a series based upon rooms. For instance, if we come around the back here, like this square, we have 2 inputs here. We only have 1 light in, let's say, room number or zone number 1, but you could have, you know, 5 or 6 of these, and you would go from light to light to light. In other words, in a series. Let's say that all 6 of them would be in one series, and then you'd have 1 home run back to the control box that would come into, let's say, zone 1. And now that would be controlled. When I turn on and off, all of the, let's say, 6 lights would turn on and off with that. So that's what we did with the colors, just to sort of show you. These are the power supplies, as you can see back here. Control and power is done in here. This is the only place that AC comes in. That is the big deal with our system. AC, we're going to convert AC to DC in this box, and everything outboard of that is going to be DC power, low voltage, class 2, running over Cat6 cables. So DC coming in this particular case, we come in with a plug. Oftentimes they're going to be hardwired, you know, in a commercial application. Sometimes a plug. Sometimes there'll actually be a power supply. We have right now on this one a power supply only here. We don't have power supply in here. This is just an empty box. So if it was a larger application, more rooms, more zones, of course we'd have power supply over here, and you'd have, this guy would be filled with all of the Cat6 RJ45 connectors. So anyways, it's very basic. Hopefully you enjoy the demo, and if you have any questions, give us a call.